Dr. Dutt,
Doing well, thank you.
I think we are live.
That's great.
Oh, Good morning, students and respected panelists. I welcome you all on this webinar on growing opportunities in environmental management. I'd like to start by introducing Mr. Jitin Chawla, who is an MBA graduate from one of the topmost business institutes of India, Faculty of Management Studies. He's also the founder and director of North India's topmost career counseling firm, Center for Career Development, which is located in Delhi. He has conducted more than 300 career counseling workshops in India, Middle East, Africa, Nepal, and throughout the year.
300 we do every year. It's about more
Yeah.
than 24,500 workshops. Like,
Oh. And he's also individually counseled more than like 1 lakh students. Um, Now I would like to introduce Dr. Sapna Narula. Uh, so, um, yeah, is my voice audible?
yeah.
Okay.
It's audible.
Yeah. So now I would like to introduce Dr. Sapna Narula. So shift in business management studies, incorporation of carbon sequestration, anti-pollution, sustainable water use measures, and willingness to promote sound environmental and personal health. So she works around these areas, and under the emerging opportunities are new career pathways in air, water, and land management. Okay, and now I would like to introduce Dr. Sugato Dutt, and he's going to be speaking about need for science-based environmental management education and advantages of the degree program in applied sciences, industry-ready and equipped to meet future challenges in design and implementation of sustainable management strategies. Lastly, I would like to thank Tribhuvan College and Nalanda University for supporting this webinar.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Shivya. It's great. I can see a lot of students joining in. Hi, Muskan. Good morning. I can see your comments. People will keep on answering your questions as we go about answering this, go about talking. Second thing is students and parents who are joining us. Why this webinar? This is an amazing area which is unfolding before all of us. Uh, India, like UN Environment Program 2010, talked about green economy, talked about reducing environmental risks. India, if I look at jobs, if I look at growth in areas related to it, India started off a lot of programs. So right from a smart city program, which is a huge initiative impacting lakhs of people, crores of people, I would say, but creating lakhs of jobs all around, to waste management programs, to water management. I'm sure you have seen how the Ganges river cleaning projects have been going on in the country with thousands of crores of outlays. So all this created a lot of jobs. If I talk about specifics, so I'm pretty excited about areas like bioplastics, wherein we all use some or the other form of plastic every day. But imagine bioplastics which can easily get disintegrated, and easily it goes back into the environment rather than polluting the environment. Waste management, low carbon economy. So these are areas which are really upcoming areas. Renewable energy, yeah, energy is a big issue. Also, it's not only about creation of energy, but even energy efficiency. That how energy is distributed. How does like there are a lot of distribution losses. So how do we take charge of it is also a part of today's discussion. And then climate change, a big area. Check out, if you want, you can check out Earth Journalism Network. So a lot of good work they have been doing across. Uh, Himalayan region is where this Bulbul project is being undertaken. Uh, you all would know about Greta Thunberg. Can we go on to the next slide? Yeah. So Greta, she really shook up, I would say, the top bodies, top governments, top political leaders. She started protesting when she was 15 years of age. And somehow she's the person who never travels by a plane. She uses solar powered boat if she's traveling. I mean, she kind of manages ride on a solar powered boat when she's traveling. So she was kind of able to bring a lot of attention. I don't know, but I follow her on social media. A typical Facebook post of hers elicits 8 lakh plus likes and so on. Uh, Whenever she has invited people, like she has done strikes, she has called out school children, she has called out professionals. Lakhs of people have joined in her endeavor. Yeah. So this is something which, and you can see on the slide, Priyanka Chopra appreciating Greta that you have brought this issue in the front. I mean, just out in the open for all of us to think about and act on it. So this is an area which we all need to think about, guys. Good jobs are also available. I'll be sharing about jobs also subsequently. But this is an area which we all need to think about. As students who are on the cusp of finding their own careers, planning what to do, some of you are would have done 12th class, some of you are in 12th class or even in graduation. So there are a lot of jobs. According to one estimate, 3.19 million jobs this year itself, with a huge growth rate year on year basis. Now, who's creating those jobs? So check out waste management. So Scrap is a startup that provides end-to-end waste management solution for events and offices. Yeah, any event when it happens, so there's a lot of waste all around. So Scrap is a startup that focuses on events and offices. Yeah. Sahas is again a company, Sahas Zero Waste. They're providing management and consultation services to bulk waste generators. Yeah. So, so these are like some startups. I'm sure when when you sit down and check on the net, you'll find n number of other startups which you can find out. So these startups provide you jobs. You can also look at different categories of jobs. So maybe you want to work in water management area. So sewage treatment, rainwater harvesting. So these are areas which are big. I stay in a society in Delhi. In my society, a rainwater harvesting project was undertaken just 2 months back. Yeah, across societies, I'm seeing that happening now. It is compulsory for each society to have a rainwater harvesting thing in Delhi. Yeah. So same way, a lot of places governments have taken initiative, and they are providing, they're enacting laws so that it becomes compulsory for people to take it up. Similarly for industry, how to take care of effluent, how to take care of your industrial waste. So laws have been passed which are enabling us, service providers or even job seekers in that area to find gainful employment. Check it out. Similarly, when it comes to shelter, yeah. So, like smart city mission, huge mission of the government. So basically, again, the objective is to provide to citizens a clean and sustainable environment. Yeah. So it might involve city improvement, which is retrofitting, city renewal, or city extension. That is, you are developing a like when I travel abroad, so a lot of people prefer to live in suburbs. Like unlike I stay in Delhi right now, but in India still there are issues and people that movement is happening, but it will intensify with time when such cities develop around us. That is why you'll find so many corridors developing, like right from a Delhi Mumbai corridor to Delhi Meerut roads have been developed. To there's a peripheral expressway all around connecting areas like Sonipat, Palwal, Faridabad. Yeah, so a lot of action on this side also, which is improving livability. And of course, sustainable environment is a part of smart solution. So this is a huge product with thousands of crores of outlay by the government and would provide a lot of jobs. Of course, this will also include water supply, electricity supply, and so on. So depending on which areas you are interested in, accordingly you can choose. So okay, environmental law. Maybe I'll cover this and then I'll come back again and then I will talk more about uh, what exactly do you do if you have to look at this as a career option. Maybe after your bachelor's, you have done a bachelor's in a certain area or in any area. Can you still join this area? Answer is yes. So how do you do it? What are the top universities in India and abroad? What is the step to step plan that I'll cover after some time? Okay, environmental law. So I was watching Netflix, and I saw in I don't remember the name of the series, but I saw in that residents of a particular community. They filed a case against a water supply company, and the water supply company paid them billions of dollars uh, after fighting for almost 8 to 9 years. And it was a huge. I mean, there was so many cases which had come up because of lack of potable water or some impurities in water. A lot of residents suffered from cancer and other diseases. Yeah. So when it was identified, they filed that case. So environmental justice. So in India also advocacy is increasing, and you would find appropriate jobs. I remember a case where CSE, Center for Science and Environment, took Coca-Cola to task because one of their factories uh, was spewing industrial waste and disturbing the ecological environment around. Yeah. So things like those. So that is why you will definitely get good jobs. You'll get jobs with government. You'll get jobs with environmental NGOs, like I just mentioned, CSC. You might work in research labs. You might work in PSUs. You might work with private companies. Yeah. Lot of startups in this area. If you go on the net and check startups in environmental management, startups in solid waste management, startups in environmental law, so you'll find there are a lot of companies working in these areas. So I'll detail more about it, but I was just giving an introductory remark that, guys, this is a great area to look for. Open up your minds, start understanding, and at any stage, like after 12th, you can look for it. In fact, any stream also. So don't limit yourself that, look, this is limited to one stream. As it is, the stream funder is going away. NEP, National Education Policy, talks about removing the silos around choosing of stream. So you could be choosing any combinations later on. Of course, you have chosen what you have chosen. So for any stream, this area is big, and it presents great career opportunities. So I welcome all of you to this webinar, and now I'll pass on the baton to Dr. Narula, and after that, Dr. Dutt. Dr. Narula, please.
Yeah, thank you, Jitin. In fact, good morning, friends. Jitin has made my job easier by highlighting a lot of areas in environmental management which are open to you. I would like to just tell you, how environmental studies field has expanded in the past, and how there are a lot of jobs opening up in the businesses sides as well. So in 90s, the way actually we all have grown. Even he showed the Twitter slide from Greta Thunberg, and the way we have all grown uh, is actually a conventional way, right? We have been worrying about feeding our population. We were worried about um, providing resources to people, providing new jobs to people. Although businesses are the economic engines of society, and they have played a lot of role in providing us the best of products and services, but somewhere their models have gone entirely wrong. And it was in 1990s when they realized that what are the impacts of these actions on the environment. It was that time that businesses themselves suffered. For example, a cement company in Rajasthan, they found out that there was no water in the vicinity, and they had to shut the plant. And that is when they realized that groundwater table had declined, and now they need to take action. Since there was no water, the communities also moved away. That means the labor was also costlier. So businesses themselves realized that how what has been the footprint of their action on various communities. And nowadays we talk about the triple bottom line concept. That means people, planet, and profit. So businesses need to be responsible. They need not only be talking about profits, but also about the people and planet. Why businesses should do that? What are the motivations? What is the best business case for this sustainability? Following this path is that, number one, consumers have across the world, especially in the developed countries, they are not preferring unenvironment friendly products, right? So they are really worried about what is their total footprint. So if somebody is buying a jeans from Adidas, they are also wanting to know that, what is the water footprint of this particular jeans or this particular pair of shoes. That is why, companies are calculating the footprint of their products. So although, in India, this is not, the demand for sustainable products is not so much because of the willingness to pay. Most of the people cannot afford, but yes, markets across the West are moving in this direction. Then Jitin has already highlighted lot of environmental laws at the national level and the global level that have been enacted recently. You must have seen that, there's a lot of hue and cry around net zero this thing, because the entire globe, the United Nations has committed for the Paris Agreement, and we all need to adopt net zero strategy. So not only the nations, for example, UK passed out climate change act in 2019. New Zealand also prepared a net zero strategy. Similarly, other countries, especially US case is very important to refer here, because US actually pulled out of Paris Agreement, and then later on, CEOs of businesses, all companies like Apple and Gap, are requesting president to revisit his decision. So that means there is a regulator, which is pulling out, but CEOs are requesting him to revisit his decision, because businesses themselves are responsible, and they understand that, if they don't adopt this path, they are going to be threatened in the near future. So yeah, this way, also investors, lot of investment is moving. Businesses who are not sustainable, who are not responsible, who do not work on the triple bottom line concept, they are not getting any investment. Huge investment banks have tied up for the green bonds, green investments, etc. So, because investors also understand that a business which cannot minimize the risk for itself, we have seen the case of Volkswagen, and how, they lost their market capitalization because they were not ethical in their approach. So the point I'm trying to highlight is that how and why environmental studies are important for the businesses as well. In my past experience in the field of sustainable management suggests that last 10 years have been very dynamic. Companies were initially in 90s, they focused only for resource efficiency. So that means reducing their energy emissions, reducing water pollution, installation of some technologies, etc., and then waste management practices. So resource efficiency means, more dollars for them because they save money. But recently, into after 2000, there has been a dynamic shift in the company's requirement of professionals, because now companies are integrating sustainability into their strategy. Infosys, when they interview people, they ask them what do they know about sustainability, what do they know about environmental management, how are they managing, right? So they are integrating it across all their departments. So integrating into your own business strategy means that uh, it is a, all the internal stakeholders are involved. Companies also need to manage the stakeholders, both internal, that is employees and others, and external, that is investors and local communities. So their footprint is, their relationship with communities need to be improved. So this is where I see lot of job opportunities coming. Indian companies, they have started reporting on sustainability. So more than 1,000 companies are coming up with their sustainability reports. That requires, need for sustainability reporting professionals. So companies do some projects related to environment, and they report, they communicate to their stakeholders. So that is where, green jobs are coming. In fact, if you ask me, International Labour Organization has estimated that there will be 24 million jobs opening up in next 5 years in this area alone, right? 6 million jobs are coming up alone in circular economy and 2.5 million in renewable energies. Of course, some sectors will be losing jobs, but these are, what we call as these are not clean energy sectors. These are petroleum extraction, etc. So these green jobs are coming, and businesses. I was amazed to see when companies were talking about. I have been with Nalanda University, and people are asking for our students, and they ask us that, do you have some water professionals? Do you know people who can manage the biodiversity? Do you know people who can calculate the carbon footprint for us? In fact, one company said that, can you prepare a carbon footprinting app? So our students did summer internships at Gale, Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum. They got lot of assignments, and they actually enjoyed. And this is where sustainability reporting professionals, and then the entire businesses are changing the entire thinking of themselves. There is a need to change the business model. Recently, everyone has adopted science based targets. Our own company Mahindra, Indian company, is part of it, and they're doing so well as far as sustainability is concerned. But businesses are worried about the local communities. They're worried about their carbon footprint. Indian companies are preparing net zero strategies, and net zero strategies means that they want to see that there is no net impact on the environment due to their actions. Some companies have even turned out to be carbon positive. So that is how companies need to manage biodiversity operations. They need people who can measure carbon sequestration. They need people who can do afforestation. They need people who are experts in carbon capture and storage technologies. They need people who are expert in solar and wind energy. So that is what makes environmental studies quite a relevant course. And let me just tell you that our generation has actually failed you. We did not grow sustainably. The future now lies in your hands. It is based on you. It now depends upon you, and I'm sure by adopting sustainable business models, by adopting green careers or sustainable careers, you can actually go ahead, with this agenda, and you can not only make a good career for yourself, but also earn yourself a great reputation in the society, in the business. So future lies in your hands, and youth now have the baton. They have to hold it both for themselves, their households, their society, and for the nation that they are in. This is something that I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
So, I suppose I continue.
Uh, yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Narula. So that there were some very relevant points, people which came up. One, like, uh, ma'am talked about businesses, how they are being implemented, how they are getting impacted, and how the entire sustainability is being integrated in business strategies. One of my team members, she kind of spends time consulting with us. She also works with a Denmark-based firm called Pontoka, and they help in ESG consultancy. So they work with companies like Camlin Fine Sciences. They work with Borosel and so on. So we feel that this is a trend which is growing. Any top company would need to, have or integrate these strategies. Hence, this is an area which is a great area. Let's learn more in detail about these from Dr. Dutt. Dr. Sugato Dutt is a very senior professional from this area. Currently, he is the director environmental ecology course at Tribhuvan College, part of Nalanda University. I would invite Dr. Dutt for his comments and ideas about this growing sector.
Thank you, Jitin. Thank you, and thank you, Sapna, as well for this very, very nice broad overview of how businesses are adapting. And thank you, Jitin, for drawing attention to how the world is increasingly beginning to look to us in India for this for their solutions in sustainable development. Basically, I'd just like to start off by saying why it is that the world is beginning to look at India with such keenness. I mean, we are a, a very populous nation. I mean, there's 1 billion plus, everyone's acutely aware of that. We are also a nation of very young people. I mean, our demographic dividend is eagerly awaited because they will eventually change the fate of the nation. So we have already begun to understand through very inspiring, talks and uh, other presentations from Greta, why the young are supposed to take over. And Sapna has said that we of the older generation with graying hair and everything have actually failed. I'd like to get back and say why and how we failed. And I'd like to say that now the time has come to pull up our pants, sit down, and get together, the young and the old together, to be able to shape out precisely how this change is going to come about. Now, as you know, the country is populous. It's populous, and therefore, there's a lot of per capita issues. We are low on per capita in income, but we are also low in per capita land availability. It's a crowded country. We are low on per capita water availability. We are low on many other indices as well. I mean, air quality is going down. All of us that have been choking and coughing in Delhi in the the winter months when stubble burning is happening, when traffic is increasing, we've witnessed what it is to have poor air quality. All of us are also uh, aware of the sudden bursts of monsoon rains and how our sewage systems are going completely uh, you know haywire. And all of us are also acutely aware that there is an increasing need for solid waste management. We've had the Swachh Bharat mission. We've begun to understand what it is within our cities, inside of our homes, as we step into the street, what it is like to be actually be sitting down and providing solutions for all these challenging environmental tasks. Now, what it is that equips a uh, a young person to set forth in this world and begin to address these gigantic problems surrounding our environment. I think the time has now come for a more transdisciplinary education. I mean, it's no longer pure sciences, pure arts, uh, even pure management. The time has come now to blend together a knowledge of the environment, of ecological functioning, and then business sense, economics, and get together a critical thinking process. That's what the real challenge is. And how do you get that? I would like to think that we are gradually going to move to a more student centered learning process. And the new education policy, the national education policy, which has just been approved, begins to offer that by uh, a cafeteria of options. You don't any longer need to, stick yourself to the standard 3 year pattern of graduation and then hunt around for a postgraduate course, seek, opportunities abroad for greater qualification. You can sandwich in between your effort at career growth. You can do that by taking a one-year course, getting a diploma, storing your credits, and move on to a real life job experience, even if it's an internship. And if you're adventurous, and I know many of you are, you will start looking for startup opportunities right away. You can move on if you wish to get a 2-year diploma. Again, taking a cafeteria options, law, management, basic sciences, and then again venture forth to further fuel your startup. You can then proceed back and get a 3-year degree and exit and then permanently establish yourself in your career pathway, whether it's business, whether it's consultancy, whether it's actually working as a specific fellow of an environmental NGO, or further move on to the pathway of research. So it is this new opportunities that are opening up with the national education policy, that we are thinking now of turning to many, many more transdisciplinary courses. So what if one of the transdisciplinary courses have a foundation in the ecological sciences, into the way in which earth, land and water, plants, human waste, industrial waste, all mingle with each other, and how does the resources circulate from point to point? How is waste stored? How is waste accumulated? How is waste managed eventually? This is the kind of new knowledge that would be equipping you to face the challenges that both Dr. Narula and Sri Jitin Chawla have been speaking about. How do you do that then? Well, foundational courses of the pure ecological sciences. Foundational courses, like I said, to see how earth and water and the plant and animal kingdom interact with each other. And then moving on from that foundation to begin to start a experience of quantifying and analyzing how, and seeing for yourself, as it were, through a critical thinking process, how these systems then actually interact with each other, the natural systems, the river basins, the lakes, the streams, the ponds, the forests. How do they interact with human society? How do they interact and provide resources for our industries? What it is that the industries themselves discharge into the atmosphere as emissions? How do you quantify those emissions? How do you quantify how pollutants are getting into the water bodies? How do you quantify how the soil itself is getting degraded, for instance, with garbage piling up, with garbage dumps, enormous municipal garbage dumps? How is it that each of these components of nature are changing under these huge human pressures that we are building? And once we are beginning to analyze that, we look for wider technologies, newer innovations that we ourselves can be able to provide solutions to. So step 3, if you will, is to begin to equip yourself to learn more and more through experiential learning, attaching yourself to an industry. The normal word is an internship, but this is experiential learning in the truest sense. You will have a mentor who will guide you through your own learning of the theoretical concepts. You will be actually interacting live with a business organization, who will then themselves be cracking through their minds of how to offer solutions. Now, all this stubble burning that we have witnessed in Delhi, that has created huge pollution problems in the last several years, there have been actually young people working to provide solutions. There has been uh, uh, a young boy and a young girl who have gone ahead and begun to investigate this process themselves in the farms outside Delhi, and begin to quantify what it is that how much was being burnt, why it is that the farmers preferred a burning solution, and what was the handicap for the farmer uh, to not take the other option of taking the crop residue and making it into baling. They found out that that was a more expensive option. And if that function could be outsourced to a small business enterprise, they would be quite happy to pay a service charge for that rather than burning on their own. So this is where this company called RY Solutions came in, and it was just these two individuals in their 20s that turned the whole scene around and established their own startup. So this is the kind of spirit of critical thinking, solution finding, and then launching new enterprises that the country needs. And there are a lot of courses coming up now under the broad ambit of environmental studies. They give the humanities perception, the business management perception. There is also, I felt, a need to have a strong foundation in the natural sciences themselves. And this is one such program that we would like to offer for your consideration. And it will be coming up, of course, under the larger uh, umbrella of the Nalanda University. It's a center of the Nalanda University. And it is the kind of program that I would encourage you to take a look at, and particularly explore all other avenues, as Sri Jitin Chawla has already mentioned. The world is open and is yours to seize and venture forth. So thank you very much.
Great, great. That was great sharing, Dr. Dutt. And I was pretty much enthused by it. I have been moving around and trying to hunt for a farmhouse for myself also.
I see.
Yeah, I have a lot of interest in plants, and even some students who keep on following us. I've kept on sharing that now is the time my green chilies have grown up, or something else has grown up. Of course, I do it for fun right now. I have a small flat, so around it I nurture 77 plants. So, I found that example to be really endearing, and opening up of mind, because last year at the BET show in London, BET is one of the largest education shows students in the world. I was there attending the BET show, and in the BET show, when I met up with career counselors from London who do similar work what I do, everyone highlighted that agricultural sciences, sustainable practices, this is amongst the top three career options. Yeah, top three career options. So that is what I'm speaking about. So, coming back to, we'll just take your questions. Maybe one we can take immediately, Dr. Dutt. I think this is addressed to you.
Okay.
If you can tell about the university that you represent, then I think if you want to show also, maybe Sarthak, can we show in the background? We can open up the website and show it. And meanwhile, Dr. Dutt will explain. Also, another related question is, what benefit does a 4-year program confer over the more common 3-year program? So these two questions I would request you to address, Dr. Dutt.
Sure. Uh, I think the second one first, because I think
Yeah,
it's four opposed to three. That might be interesting a lot of people. Because as you know, we generally look through a comparison between an education in just the sciences and maybe a BTech degree. Now, the BTech basically is a 4-year platform, and equips you with professional readiness. And this is what has been driving perhaps the corporate world in the country, both in the private and the public sector, for the last several decades. Now, gradually it's being understood that the 3-year usual science or arts program really doesn't equip you now to address technological challenges. The basic difference being that it's not professional. So a 3-year standard pattern is not professional. And the depth and sort of the width of learning that you get from a 3-year program is really a little bit insufficient to let you on to a more mature career, perhaps in either research, consultancy, or further studies to equip your knowledge even more. So this 4-year program essentially now gets to award you an honors option, and in the 4th year, there is the ample opportunity of doing a complete integrated internship by attaching yourself to either a corporate house, or if you are experimental, you wish to, you have acquired the finances necessary and indulge in your own startup and get all the necessary information and data collected to be able to launch yourself very, very firmly into the pathway of enterprise. So this is the advantage of the additional year. It gets you greater depth of learning. It gets you more integrated with the real world, and most important of all, gets you the opportunity for uh, the practical exposure and to integrate yourself into the real world. That a normal pattern of just 3 years with standard theoretical uh, inputs will not provide. So this is the essential difference. And I think we have here the website of the proposed program. I would first, of course, like to say that we are under the aegis of the uh, Nalanda University, which itself is a grand venture in reviving a very ancient and very, very respected center of learning in a time when India was the center of the global world. And once again, like I say, India is back to being the focus of global attention. And it is under the aegis of the Nalanda University that we now offer this center at the Tribhuvan College, which, of course, is a center of the Nalanda University based at Neemrana, just on the outskirts of Delhi. Itself, a site known for both its historical, past and its architectural marvels, the Neemrana Fort, as well as the beautiful setting in very, very close to the globally well-known Sariska Tiger Reserve. And there are a lot of water bodies, wonderful wildlife. Neemrana, incidentally, is also now upcoming as one of the great centers on the Delhi, Ahmedabad, Bombay corridor. It is I think it's about a 5,000 acre campus with a large selection of industrial investments from Japan and Korea, even domestic investments. And more interestingly, it's a knowledge hub with about 38 universities and other institutions of learning. So that's where it's located. And this is where this program is offered. Do check the website for further details. If you have further questions, I'll get to answer them.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dutt. We have another question. Maybe Dr. Narula, you can take this. Can we join UN after this courses as a climate specialist? And I would add, like any other such opportunities where gainful employment can be sought with the multilateral bodies.
Yes, multilateral bodies offer a lot of such opportunities for students. Uh, I'll just give example of my, our MBA in Sustainable Development and Management students at Nalanda. They recently finished their, three of them finished their internships with UN Global Compact, which is the business arm of United Nations. Then UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, and they have offices all across India. So our students are mostly international. And yeah, one of the girl, she in fact got internship offer at the Africa. So United Nations Environment Program, and there are regular opportunities. Asian Development Bank, then UNESCO, UNEP itself is big, and then UNEP has a lot of other bodies, UNESCO. So our faculty comes from UNESCO, Dr. Zinaida Fadiva. So I'm just trying to highlight that there are a lot of opportunities in FAO, or and also NGOs, World Wildlife Fund, World Resources Institute, World Business Council for Sustainable Development. During my stint in the sustainability management, as a sustainability management professor in last 10 to 15 years, I've seen that a lot of our students have gone to these streams. WBCSD is a regular employer. They have an office in New Delhi, plus they have an international office in Geneva. There are international appointments as well that are offered to students. NGOs also, like you mentioned, Center for Science and Environment, TERI, where I was earlier there. So TERI recruits a lot of people. Then all these Greenpeace, it's an important NGO that offers opportunities. So that's what I'm saying. International Labour Organization, opportunities are plenty. It depends upon the student how he or she takes advantage of the platform that we provide to harness that opportunity. I think Dr. Dutt has clearly highlighted that you need uh, you know future students. I don't think the way we have grown up or the way we have studied, future students should not be following the same path. They need to be thinker, they need to be strategic thinkers, so they need to be futuristic. Say for example, I tell my students to question myself. Unless they question me in the class, how will they know that this is right and wrong? So there should be 10 solutions to a problem, and then for students it's important how do we arrive at that particular solution. And this is what at Nalanda University we tell our students through experiential learning. So they have regular sessions, and we give lot of room to think for themselves. So it is I think even in our MBA and in sustainable development and management program, and also I'm sure in bachelor's in ecology and water management, the thought behind this is that they should pursue it themselves. We will only show the light, and they have to learn in a group. They have to learn from industry. So we must know how to harness these opportunities. Students are, yes, public sector undertakings. They really require a lot of people, because ONGC has got a carbon management department. So in carbon management department, they need people who know how to do, how to calculate all that carbon footprinting and carbon credits thing. So that's how we need people in businesses who are experts in environmental management, and they may go to either corporate sector, they may take the NGO path, they may take the startup path, they may also go to multilateral bodies, as the question itself highlighted. Thank you.
Great, great. So Shanu Goyal, your question, is this in India? Yes. This is at a short distance from Delhi. It's at a place called Neemrana. I'm sure you would have heard of Neemrana Fort. So it's there at Neemrana. Shanu, so you can check tribhuvancollege.com. You can see on the screen right now also. So tribhuvancollege.com, you can check for more details. In case you want a campus visit also, so you can put in a request there. Okay, Rahul is asking about scholarship, and I have another person, Shilpa, asking about fees. What kind of scholarship do we have at this college, and what is the fees of the course?
Sure. I think I can respond to that.
Yeah, please.
Scholarships, yes, certainly. We are very open. We would definitely be interested in learning more about people with both the necessary merit, definitely, and the lack of means to get through to it. We're completely open. applications are invited, and we will examine them for. But uh, more interesting, perhaps, and worthwhile is the opportunities that we would like to provide to the incoming student to actually interact on a one-on-one basis with the premier natural resource managers, environmental managers in the country. Get to know firsthand and have interactions in person in the offices or the work sites of both not only uh, ecologists, for instance, dealing with wildlife management at the Sariska Tiger Reserve, uh, professionals of the Pollution Control Board, uh, scientists and researchers at the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, which has centers all across the country. There would be ample opportunities to interact, discuss, perhaps even formulate your own project with policy think tanks in this field of environment, of population management. Uh, for instance, I could name also the International Wetlands Authority, the Asia office of which is in New Delhi, and so on. So I think that is the real value that we would like to offer to the students. But yes, certainly scholarships themselves also we are very open to.
Okay,
Fees wise.
Shanu is saying internet is showing it in Nepal. I I don't know.
Oh, I see.
So
I think
there,
the search word should be Tribhuvan College as one word. .com is the actual thing. There is, of course, the Tribhuvan University in Nepal that
okay.
it could possibly be. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
probably the reason.
There is a question by Deepa about placement opportunities as well as co-curricular activities on campus.
Would you like me to respond? Yeah,
Please.
you'll find out it's a uh, nice modern campus. We have all the way from outdoor sports in uh, in a football field. Uh, I mean, the size is as per FIFA guidelines. There's also ample opportunities for indoor games and sports. In co-curricular, the way we've structured even our building layout, we have breakout rooms for seminars, for group discussions, and they could range all the way from your professional or academic interests to even going on to have uh, fairs and fetes and various other in in-house cultural events which could allow you to interact with the other campuses at Neemrana and perhaps from elsewhere in the country. So ample opportunities are available.
Great, great. So I will just quickly highlight people more, which I promised initially. How do you go step by step from here? So Sarthak, you can please put on the presentation so that we can complete. So a lot of people have been asking that, look, how do I move forward from here? Maybe I do a BSc here, then or a bachelor's program, and then what next? How do I progress in this career? What kind of degrees to look at? So if you look at India's top institutes, so you can of course check out Nalanda University, which is in Bihar, and Nalanda University has courses in masters, which will give you opportunities. You can check out Terry University. So Terry again, has masters courses in water science, climate science and policy, environment studies and resource management, and of course a hugely popular MBA sustainability management. If you do a sustainable management course, then you can work with various organizations. Like we are just showing you some of the world's biggest environmental firms. Yeah, right from I can see Jacobs at Dallas, Clean Harbors, Tetra Tech, Pure Corp. Yeah, so many organizations are there. These are like world's top environmental firms. Similarly, in India also this is a growth area, and while you'll find more and more colleges also introducing these courses. So TISS Mumbai has climate change and sustainability study. Kochi Institute of Technology has MSc Environmental Biotechnology. Of course, that one is for science students, but you could look at other courses which are not dependent as much on what subjects you studied in your graduation also. If you look internationally, then you can look at Stanford. Stanford is seen to be one of the top universities in the world. They have a Masters of Science, Energy Resources Engineering. Yeah, so Stanford comes right on the top. I would say others follow them. Oxford is amazing in UK. In case you're looking at UK, they call the degree as MSc in Environmental Change and Management. Then of course Cornell is there. You can do a MA energy and resource or MS. So MA anybody can take. Yeah, MS there would be some requirements. Imperial College London again is a top college having an MSc. If you want to study free of charge, go to ETH Zurich. In fact, I traveled to Zurich last year. I went to ETH and like a concerned Indian, I asked at three places, are you actually offering courses free of charge? Which they concurred. Yeah. Also, University of Zurich is there. So these are ETH Zurich is one of the top universities in the world. People located in Switzerland, masters in environmental sciences. Of course, check out when I recommend Germany and Switzerland to people. You need to check the language. Though masters now a lot of courses are available in English language, so you can check it out. NUS at Singapore again is doing a good job. MSc in Environmental Management, or if you're looking at Canada, you can look at UBC Vancouver. In fact, I remember I met up with a student at in Canada, and again I was traveling across universities, and this guy was doing a program in earth, water, and sustainability. So during his internship, he had traveled to Africa, and he had worked with the government to develop sustainable agricultural practices. Yeah. So those are kind of projects students are doing side by side. So this is how you can plan out. Definitely, it's a great career waiting for you. In case you need more information, you can be in touch with the Tribhuvan College. I would request Dr. Dutt, Dr. Narula to also share, any connects or any email ID so that students can connect and take it forward from there. So, any last parting statements after that, Narula?
Dr. Narula, I request you to go first, and then I can just.
So,
No, I think we had a very good discussion, and my last word is that as youth, they have to take sustainable career choices. They have to go by what the world needs, and BSc Ecology and Environment, and then opting for MBA in Sustainable Development and Management at Nalanda is obviously the right kind of career path. So that is this is also an international university. So in India itself, you are getting an international education. Choose the right path, choose the green career for yourselves, and
great,
be the part of sustainable future. This is what the world needs right now.
great. Dr. Dutt?
Yeah, just a quick supplement to what you yourself, Jitin, had mentioned. Outstanding universities outside the country, in the Western world, as well as in our own neighborhood in the Far East and Southeast Asia. Definitely, yes, the career pathways are well carved out at the master's level. The research and learning pathways are also carved out in universities abroad. They're outstanding universities and centers of excellence in terms of the institutions by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research as well within the country. One another quick supplement about the advantage of a four-year program. It would also necessarily be putting you in full qualification for the GATE exam, which is the pathway for higher studies in both the sciences and technology. So there is an opportunity for that as well for those who are more research oriented. But otherwise, I think the world is your oyster. There are many choices to take from, and go ahead on the pathway to sustainable development. Do your research as thoroughly as you can. Make the choices of your future as intelligent as you definitely can and will. But work for a greener world is the final message that I would certainly like
Great,
give to you,
great,
and I know that you can definitely do it. Thank you so much.
great, Dr. Dutt. Amazing comments, Dr. Narula. I would just like to share, guys. While I was growing up, when I was in school, so at that time, IT was just happening, and my batchmates or my juniors who took up IT at that time, that was fairly new. Like a lot of people were not really so excited about computer science as they are now. So though now if you're choosing, you compete with thousands of lakhs of people only from India and so many others from outside. But at that time, people who went in for those courses, even they went to not so great institutions, they all had a wonderful career ahead. Why? There was a wave which was rising, and they could ride the wave. Like we say, surf the highest wave, so they could ride that wave. So similarly, right now, we feel environmental management, sustainability management, uh, efficient energy, uh, solid waste management. So these are all the areas which are really growing. So look at these courses, get in touch with Tribhuvan College. It will help you understand, and plan out a huge successful career for yourself, whether in India or outside India. With this, I wish you all the best. I thank all students and parents who have joined us. I also thank Dr. Sugato, Dutt, Dr. Sapna, and of course Tribhuvan College for helping us in organizing this webinar. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jitin,
Thank you,
and
everyone.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.